Hey everyone, Ben here, back in F1 23 with shock news from the Spanish Grand Prix as F1 legend Fernando Alonso has announced at his home race that he's going to be retiring from the sport. And speaking of driver news, the press have also been asking me who my biggest rival on track right now is. It's definitely one of the Alfa Romeo drivers, and we've gone with Zhou Guanyu. And finally, we've got another upgrade to the car, and we're fitting a brand new engine after the debacle of Imola in the last round, and so we're all set to go racing in Barcelona for round 4 of this championship season. A better qualifying has put us into Q2 for the first time this year, and although my teammate Théo Pourchaire is still struggling, I think in race trim we've got the pace to fight for some minor points. It's a one-stop race and we're going to be going soft to mediums, but you might have seen on the grid there that Alonso has qualified poorly. He's starting on the hard tyres. I expect we'll see him as the race gets underway. Right then, on the grid, waiting for the 5 red lights, starting P15 here. It's a long stretch down to T1. We're held for an age at the lights, but thankfully we get away okay, and we're going to be closing right in on the rear wing of Bottas up ahead, but there's just no room as I've got the McLaren of Piastri on my outside, and we've got Lance Stroll there too, so it's 2x2 heading into T1. No room really to make any moves. I'm hoping I don't get hit, but actually we all get through unscathed. We just take a little bit too much speed into the long right-hander. Lance Stroll will get back past me, and I've got Piastri still on my inside now. You'll see the McLaren emerging, and he just gives us a squeeze through the corner there, but I'm going to try and get him straight back into the left-hander. He left us room on the inside, and that is a fantastic overtake, and actually Alex Albon has made his way through as well. Let's take a look at that action straight away on replay, side by side through the right-hander, and you can actually see Piastri nearly lost the car there. I took advantage and just squeeze him out through the left-hander and get back up into P14. Back to the live action then on lap 2, and you can see the field still packed together, and there's cars all across the track here as we begin the second lap of this race. Side by side action up ahead. I'm just going to keep a watching brief for now. There's a long way to go in this race. I don't want to pick up any damage. I want a clean session. That's going to give me the best chance of getting a good result through this race. We're up into P14. I've got Bottas up ahead in P13 and Alex Albon behind in P15, and it looks like Bottas is going to be trying to challenge Stroll up ahead, but you can see actually all the way up into the top 10 still relatively close together here, and that's my aim really, to try and get this Broca Formula 1 car with its new engine up into the top 10 and score just 1 or 2 points. That'll be good enough for this part of the season, but right now I've got a big chance to get around the outside of Valtteri Bottas into the hairpin, brake hard at the end of the straight and try and hold the car around the outside. Oh, a snap of oversteer. We're still side by side, but eventually I get the move done. That was fantastic racing. Another snap of oversteer on exit as we're coming through the right-hander. No chicane now, of course, which of course is a big improvement to this circuit, and it's given me a fantastic run on Lance Stroll out of the final corner. DRS enabled, but I'm just using the battery for now as we're bombing past on the inside, but we're going to be side by side into the corner. I give him a little squeeze. He's still on my outside, but I'm able to carry the momentum through the corner, and we're up into P12. So 2 positions gained there, but look in the rear view. Stroll fancies a move straight back past. He's going to shape to the inside. We're side by side through the right-hander. I've got to give him space on the inside, but I'll have the better drive coming out of the corner, and I'm able to hold on to the position. Let's take a look back on the replay then. You can see just from Bottas's perspective here, he was just caught on the inside. I was able to hold the car around the outside and claim the position. And then just a couple of corners later, Stroll trying to defend as I've got way more speed down his inside. He manages to hold it all the way around the outside to T1, but there's no space heading into the next corner, and the position is mine. On to lap 3 then, and I've got Pierre Gasly up ahead on the hard tyre, so there may be an opportunity for me to get past the Alpine as well in the early stages of this race. Lance Stroll still within DRS behind me, but actually Valtteri Bottas has just taken him as we see a move up ahead. Gasly on Zhou Guanyu, and yes, he's been able to get the move done. As you know, they're still side by side. Look at that, Zhou Guanyu fighting back and looks like he's going to be able to hold this, as the next corner is a right-hander. He'll have the high ground here. Gasly around the outside of the Alfa Romeo, but he keeps his nose in, and now he'll have the advantage heading down into the left-hander, and he gets the move done. Fantastic racing action there between the Alpine and the Alfa Romeo. Bottas has squeezed right in on my rear wing again here, but I'm eyes forward. My new rival, as talked about in the press prior to this race, Zhou Guanyu up ahead. Can I get another move done here? We've got overspeed heading into the hairpin, down the inside this time. Oh, and it's a bit of a dive bomb, and I'm just able to hold the car, not collide with the Chinese driver there, and we've made the move stick, and we are now up into P11. It's been an electric opening to this race, and we've got Gasly up ahead now in the first points paying position as we come through the final corner. And look at the speed we're going to carry on to the start finish straight here, using the DRS, not yet using my overtake, and I'm not going to need to, because look at the power and the speed we've got with this new Renault engine down the inside on our parent team. Essentially, we're customers of the Alpine team for their Renault engines, and wow, we've taken advantage of the extra power of the new power unit that we've got in for this race, and Gasly had absolutely no answer to us there, getting past into T1 and up into the points. We fast forward now then onto lap 10, so we're getting towards the pit window. Now, I couldn't shake Gasly off. He's remained a second or so behind me, and I haven't really been able to reel Nico Hülkenberg in the Haas up in 9th position either, but you can see the lead runners beginning to take their pit stops. So on the very next lap, I'm going to come into the pits to get rid of these soft tyres. The grip was beginning to go away from me, but actually we're going to follow Hülkenberg's pit stop here in the Haas. He's going to come into the pits and he's going to have a nightmare. Just look at the front left tyre. The pit crew can't get the tyre off the car. That's going to slow him down hugely. Eventually, he does get the tyre change done, but then he's held as a car comes into the pits up ahead of him, and that's going to give me enough time to get my tyre change done and out of the pits ahead of him. So we gain one position in the pit lane. Gasly would come in on the next lap, and here I appear coming down the start-finish straight ahead of him as well, and actually he's going to lose a position to Nico Hülkenberg too, who benefits from the undercut despite that slow stop. So we were running in P9 for the next 5 laps of the race. Gasly managed to get past Hülkenberg behind, and he is reeling me in. So unfortunately it looks like the rest of this race is going to be spent defending. Ocon is just too far up the road in P8. I'm going to be defending against Gasly here to see if I can't hold on to P9 and the 2 championship points it would bring us for this debut La Broca Formula 1 team season. And you can see he's all over my rear wing here already. I just haven't found the same pace and groove on this medium tyre as I had on the soft tyre. We're 1 lap further ahead onto lap 17. Unfortunately, I've lost the hood for this particular section of racing, so I'll pop up the TV camera. You can see this from Gasly's perspective as well as my own here into T1. He's going to be all the way around the outside. I'm going to try and hold him off through the second part of the corner, and I'm just able to do it. No contact there. Really good racing, but I'm feeling in the cockpit at the moment like this is just a matter of time as Gasly swings to the inside. He's going to try the move again down my inside here. Oh, and he chops right the way across me. Nothing I could do there. I'm going to think about the move down the inside, but I couldn't make that stick. We nearly collide through the mid corner, but unfortunately we've lost P9 to the Frenchman. He's just got more speed than I do at this stage of the race. Fantastic racing action though, side by side, that you can see here on the replay. And having defended into T1, I had nothing to withstand the attack. 3 corners later, and he was through on the inside, chops back across me for good measure, and there's just not room down my inside. But who is that you could spy behind me on lap 17? It's the Aston Martin of Fernando Alonso in his very last Spanish Grand Prix, remember. He announced his retirement pre-race, and now he's right behind me. But for the time being, I've got eyes forward because I was able to blast past Gasly again on the very next lap in his slipstream, deploying my battery, and with DRS we're back up into P9, but the pressure from behind was relentless. I couldn't shake Gasly off. Alonso well into this fight now too, and it's going to be a very fraught final 4 laps here. When you're the lead car in this kind of chain, you don't have DRS, so I'm anticipating that Gasly is going to attack here. I've deployed the battery, but I really don't have much left, so there's not much I can do on that front. He's well within the DRS range here. I'm going to shape to the inside to try and defend from the Alpine driver, open up the corner as much as I can, but wow, he's clean past me already, and I nearly lose the car mid-corner there. That has compromised me to Alonso behind, who senses blood and a chance to get into the points in his final home race here. I'm going to head to the inside to try and cover him off into the right-hander here. He's all the way alongside, a snap of oversteer mid-corner, and he gives it up on corner exit. I'm able to hold him off on this lap at least, but we're straight on to lap 21. The pressure still building, and I am falling behind Pierre Gasly up ahead. Alonso elects against making a move into T1, but another challenge up the hill here and into the right-hander is surely coming. Can I hold the Spaniard off once again here? He's shaped to the inside very early, actually caught me out a little bit there, and he's going to come right the way across. There's a little bit of contact there on the corner exit. He barges his way through, and unfortunately for me, I could not hold off the charging Aston Martin, who was of course out of position in this race thanks to a poor qualifying, and we've dropped out of the points. Heartbreak with just a couple of racing laps to go. Can I fight back into the next DRS zone? Let's see if we can get all the way alongside here. We've got huge overspeed heading down towards the corner. We're going to make a dive. Oh, but it's a huge dive. And actually, we've gone in too hot. We nearly lose the car on exit. Alonso was able to cut back up underneath me there and hold the position. Wow, what a few laps of racing action. Fantastic, this fighting the AI on F1 23. It's honestly just great fun, even though I've come off on the losing end of these exchanges. As you can see on the replay here, epic side-by-side battling all the way. We were able to hold off Alonso to begin with to hold on to this final point position, but then on the next lap he squeezes down my inside. There is just a little bit of contact as we bump tyres on the corner exit, and I just couldn't hold him off on that part of the track. And then a somewhat desperate attempt to get the position back. I managed to make this move work on the Alfa Romeo of Zhou Guanyu earlier in the race, but I just overcooked it, nearly lost the rear of the car, but thankfully held on. On to the final lap of the race then, and although we were just about able to hold on to the 2 cars up ahead who were fighting for position right to the end, I could not get back up into the points. Max Verstappen taking the race win here then, and although it was a great and enjoyable race, and actually fighting for the points is where I really want us to be, I can't help but feel a little bit disappointed that we came away empty-handed. I'm a little bit worried at how poorly our teammate is performing as well. Theo Pourchaire is going to need to deliver some better performances if he's going to hold on to this seat beyond this season. Perez then retains the lead in the Drivers' Championship, but Max Verstappen is closing in after this Spanish Grand Prix. And a shout out to Fernando Alonso, who's there in P7. He managed to grab points in his final Spanish Grand Prix. I hope you've enjoyed this race. If you have, leave a like, get subscribed, and I will see you on the next one.